is Francesco Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report or Scoop News. It's been a while since I've done recording, not sure why. I've just been writing a few more articles. This one, though, covers the red tide, the scourge, the invasion of the toxic algae. Well, let me rephrase that because you know how freaked out people get over red tide. Red tide is natural. We know that. It's been occurring since the 1800s when I was a small kid here surfing at the South or North Jetty. I would come home with red swollen eyes and irritation in the skin and respiratory issues and all that good stuff from a day of surf and get lectured to. So it's natural occurring. But what a lot of these trolls or people that just don't, I don't know what their problem is. They don't understand or that once Okeechobee opened the floodgates, algae went everywhere. The greatest concentration right down there to our south, it's spreading north now, and they can't put one and one together to realize that the culmination of the algae from the Okeechobee release, the pollution from the outflow pipes, and red tide, and whatever other factors, the culmination has been deadly with this toxic invasion. Somebody said, why is it now suddenly everyone's upset? Because in all my years here, maybe I missed it, I don't remember 9 dolphins dying right here off Venice where I live. I don't remember manatees on a daily basis showing up dead. I don't recall it being this bad. It is in a lot of ways, contrary to what people like Mayor Hollick of Venice says, a man-made issue. He once said that there was concern a few weeks ago about the developers burning down the trees. And he said, I can do something about this because it's a man-made issue. I can talk to Neil, which he did. Neil said he'll take more action. But he said this is all natural. Again, an idiot. Again, we know it's natural. The issue is the other factors, the culmination. They always look at one thing, these politicians. Then he's, I'm picking on him because he's the only politician that's made asinine comments about it. And I'm on email, and I can document it because it's on email. The other thing he said, when asked, why aren't you writing anyone? Why aren't you writing your state representative like ours is Julio Gonzalez, who's running for Congress? Why aren't you writing him and going up the chain? Sort of like the lady that's running for county commissioner, Alexandra Cosette. She would go first, starting writing her state senator. If nothing happened, go up the chain. He said he doesn't want to because he wants a solution to the issue. He wants to save the world, and he's going to go up there with it in his hands. His solution is an idea that's been around here for years. A guy out in the Nokomis had a patent on it, ran out of funding. Nobody was really interested in it. I don't know if it works or not. He says it does, but I got to believe if it did, maybe more people would be interested. That's his magical solution. Now, Moat has been, there was an interesting communication, and there's some reports. I think the Herald has a document out there, too, talking about how Moat said, look, this has been around, 1800s. We haven't really done anything because it hasn't been this severe, and there hasn't been a lot of outcry. But now, since you're seeing all these dead animals, birds, fish, dolphins, manatees, there's an outcry over it. You're seeing tourism being impacted. Oddly enough, and back to this idiot Hollick, Bob Daniels, who also wants to be mayor next year, said, hey, look, we got to do something. This is starting to impact our business. Oddly enough, he waited until it started impacting business and tourism, because everyone's canceling hotels if you haven't read the articles I put out. And he wanted it on the agenda, and the city manager's like, it's too full. We can't do that. I think he finally got it on the agenda for next week. But what are these politicians thinking? I like the guy, the mayor down in Sanibel, I think it is. He went up to D.C. to put pressure on these guys. When I sit down with my interview with Julio Gonzalez, state senator of Florida, or state house representative, I'm going to say to him, he's running for U.S. Congress, which will cover, in Sarasota counties, it'll cover Inglewood, Venice, Northport, basically south and east. And that's going to be one of my questions, is the water quality. What are you going to do? What have you done, Julio? Or I should say, Dr. Gonzalez. Respect. You got to show respect. The Moat, though, this interesting communication, it came out of the Herald. This, I believe, came out of the Herald, but basically Moat said that this this particular bloom, which started back in October, which has led to decomposing fish everywhere, which is, we're seeing the effects of it again because that wind out of the west is blowing it all back in. It's always been there. There's this misnomer. People go to the beach and they think, oh, the smell's gone, so it's okay to get in. No, it's not. Oddly enough, Dr. Gonzalez, who I'll be sitting down with, I was out surfing a couple years ago. Caught a wave, rode it. God, I ripped. I do rip on my stand-up paddle surfing. Turned around, saw a guy dropping in right at me, so I jumped off and I went underwater. He rode right over me with a fin, sliced my foot wide open, cut my tendon. I had to go to the hospital. He looked at it, wanted to do some stuff. I said no, because it would cost thousands upon thousands. Good thing, nothing. It didn't really need to be repaired. It's fine now. But I look back, that time and another time, I was out of that water within minutes, and it got infected because that water is so nasty. If you guys want, I'm going to put below this my coverage of the outflow tanks. It's horrible, fine. But they said this particular bloom, the Moat Marine scientists basically said, look, to get rid of this thing, it's so intense, it's so widespread, we're going to need a major hurricane system to hopefully come through. Downside to that is, I know there's something out in the Atlantic, but they don't say it doesn't have a chance of even getting anywhere. I put it up, I think, yesterday. Small probability. That's because of the drier air, the stronger wind shear, and they're thinking it's not going to be an active season. So they're thinking this red tide bloom may be around for years. The good side is intensified government and scientific intervention. We have, I can't say the name, but there is a Congress member that's running for governor, put one and one together, who likely will be the next governor based upon the polls and based upon the Democratic ticket. He will be in Inglewood next Wednesday. I can't say where. It'll be around 5 o'clock. I'm supposed to go. I don't know if I'm going to, though. There's an event next in Inglewood on the 26th, which I put up on my wall yesterday. So getting involved, pressuring these people, pressuring idiots like this Mayor Hogg to do something, say something, take action. This has been Francesco Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report.